Hello, this is Scholar Strive doing some math. Today in Algebra 1 we're going to write equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect and form right angles, 90 degrees. 4 right angles to be exact. And perpendicular lines, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. So if that was 2, this would be negative 1/2. So opposite means if it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. And reciprocal means if I have a fraction here, or a whole number, which is 2 over 1, that gets flipped over. So reciprocal means flipped. Opposite means if it's positive, it's negative. If it's negative, it's positive. So opposite reciprocal means negative. So if it's 2 over 1, it becomes negative 1/2. Okay? So once again, to find the opposite reciprocal, change the sign of the number. So if it's positive, it becomes negative. If it's negative, it becomes positive. And then flip the fraction. So write an equation of a line that passes through 2, 4 and is parallel to the line y equals 4x plus 1. So if you don't remember what parallel means same slope. They don't intersect at all. Okay? So write an equation of a line that passes through the point 2, 4 and is parallel to the line y equals 4x plus 1. So we are writing a different line, not this one. We are writing a new line, but it's parallel to that line. Okay? So all I need from this is slope, because a parallel line is slope, so slope is 4. Okay? So write an equation of a line that passes through the point 2, 4. So here's my x and y. Okay, so we're writing a new equation. So y equals mx plus b. Okay, I'm going to plug these two numbers, or mx plus b, these two numbers into our x and y. Okay. So y, which is 4, equals m, which is also 4, x plus b. Oh, x is 2 plus b. Okay, now we're going to solve for b. So I have 4 equals 8 plus b. Then you get b by itself, so I subtract 8 from both sides and get b equals negative 4. So my equation is y equals 4x minus 4. Okay? See, this is a different equation from the other one. Alright, determine which of the following lines, if any, are parallel and perpendicular. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is rewrite these equations. Alright, so the first, sorry, I got it. Emergency warning. Anyways, what was I doing? Determine if the following lines, if any, are parallel and perpendicular. So the first thing we're going to do is change into y equals mx plus b, if we need to. Okay. So for example, line B is already in y equals mx plus b form, so our slope is 4. Okay, line A. So we need to change it into y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to move 12x over. So negative 3y equals negative 12x plus 3. Okay, and then to get y by itself, I'm going to divide by negative 3, which means I divide this by negative 3 and divide this by negative 3. Y equals 4x, so negative 12 divided by negative 3 is positive 4x. And then 3 divided by negative 3 is minus 1. Okay, so slope is 4 for this one. Okay, that means line A and line B are parallel. Okay, let's look at line C in a different color. Four y plus x equals 8. So I'm going to move x over. So 4y equals negative x plus 8. So I'm going to divide everything by 4 to get rid of it. We have y by itself. So y equals negative 1/4 x plus 8 divided by 4 is 2. So my slope for this one, for line C, is negative 1/4. Okay? So line C is perpendicular. So line C is perpendicular. I'm going to use the perpendicular symbol. So this is the perpendicular symbol. So line C is perpendicular to line A and B. Okay? And the reason because, so this is slope is 4 over 1. If we flip it and then make it negative, that's opposite reciprocal, you'll get negative 1/4. So line C is perpendicular to line A and A and B have the same slope. Okay. Alright, checkpoint 1. Write an equation of a line that passes through that and that. Okay. So once again, so we have parallel. Parallel means same slope. We are not writing this, it's not the same exact line as this, we're just using the slope. So the slope is negative 3. So, and then I'm going to plug, so I have the point negative 4, comma 6. So y equals negative, so I'm going to plug this into the equation here. Y equals mx plus b. So y, which is 6, equals m, which is negative 3, times x, which is negative 4, plus b. So 6 equals 12 plus b. So I subtract 12 from both sides to get b equals negative 6. So my equation is y equals negative 3x minus 6. Alright, let's do another one. Okay, so once again, we're going to change this into y equals mx plus b form. So for this one, minus 4x, y equals negative 4x plus 2. My slope is negative 4. Okay, line B. I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. So I'll get 20y equals negative 5x plus 10. And then I'm going to divide everything by 20. So y equals negative 1 over 4x plus 1/2. Okay, so my slope for this one is negative 1/4. Okay, so if we're looking at line A and B, the fraction's flipped, but it's not opposite. So they're not parallel, they're not perpendicular. Okay, so let's keep going. Line C. So let's see, line C, 8y equals 2x plus 8. So I'm just going to divide everything by 8. So I'm going to get y equals 1/4 x plus 1. So my slope is 1/4. Okay. If I look at line A and line C, those are opposite reciprocals. So negative 4 over 1, flip it, becomes 1/4. Make it opposite, becomes positive. So line A and line C are perpendicular. Perpendicular. Okay. Let's do it again. I'll stay in red. So divide everything by 6. And we'll get y equals 5 over 6x plus 4/3. But we just need the slope. So 5 over 6. Okay, let's look at the other one. Divide everything by negative 10. So I get y equals negative 6 over 5 minus 1. Okay, so I had 12 over negative 10. That reduces to negative 6 over 5. So I have 5 over 6. Does that become opposite and reciprocal? So I flip it, make it negative. Yes, that is. So perpendicular. These two lines are perpendicular. Alright, determine whether a line through that is perpendicular to a line through that. Okay. So let's start off with line A. So line A. We need to find the slope. So slope, remember, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm just going to do right minus left. 4 minus 3 over 3 minus 1. So I'll get 1 over 2. Okay, line B. Negative 5 minus negative 3 over 2 minus 1, which is negative 5 plus 3 over 2 minus 1 is 1, which is negative 2 over 1, which is negative 2. Okay, so that's 1/2 and -2 perpendicular. Because 1/2, if you flip it, becomes 2/1, and then if you make it opposite, it becomes negative. So they are perpendicular. Example 4. Write an equation of a line that passes through that and is perpendicular. So we've been working with parallel. So this is perpendicular. And once again, we are not using this line. Okay. So the slope is 1/3, but we need opposite reciprocal. Opposite reciprocal because of the word perpendicular. Okay. So I'm going to flip it and make it opposite. So it was originally a positive 1/3, now it's a -3/1. Okay, so this is the slope I'm going to be using. Okay, and then we have an x and y here. So we're making the equation y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to substitute my x value and then my y value. Okay, and my m value. So y, which is 4, equals m, which is -3/1, times x, which is -3, plus b. So I have 4 equals -3 times -3 is +9, plus b, -9, and we'll get b equals -5. So y equals -3x minus 5. Okay. Here we go. Last one. For the today. Write an equation of a line that passes through that and is perpendicular. Okay. Perpendicular. So this 5 is going to become opposite, which is negative, and then flipped, 1/5. Okay, and that's my slope. Okay, we're going to plug it into the equation y equals mx plus b. So y, which is -2, equals m, which is -1/5, times x, which is 4. X, which is, 4. Plus b. Okay. So I have -2 equals -4/5 plus b. Okay. So we're going to have a fraction because I have to add 4/5 over to both sides. So I have -2/1 plus 4/5. Now, if you don't remember your fractions, when adding and subtracting fractions, you need a common denominator. Okay. Or the lowest common multiple of 1 and 5 is 5. So I'm going to multiply this left fraction by 5 to the top and bottom. So top by 5, bottom by 5, just to the first fraction. So -10/5 plus 4/5 is -6/5. And that is my b value. So y equals -4/5 minus 6/5. Oh, forgot my x. There we go. So that was a little bit harder because of the fractions. But remember, that's not the only way of writing an equation of a line. You can write it in point slope. Point slope would have probably been easier because you just write the slope and the point and then you're done, right? So here, I'll show you. Point slope is y minus y1. So y minus minus 2 is y plus 2 equals slope, which is negative 1/5 times quantity x minus 4. Oops, minus 4. This is 5. So that's another way you could have written it. But you need to get in the practice of putting it in the slope-intercept form. So that's the y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b is far more useful than the other forms, standard or point slope. Point slope can be quite helpful in making your slope-intercept form, but just get into the practice of always switching into y equals mx plus b. All right, have a good one.